grab your coffee, grab your journal, get comfy, and let's do this thing. It's all good in the sisterhood this morning.
Yes.
We are so excited to have Miss Joanna Pixley here with us. And I am absolutely so excited to get into this conversation because ever since I first met you, the impact of your words in my life have just been game-changing. So everybody, you are in for a treat this morning. Joanna is an author, speaker, entrepreneur extraordinaire. She does all kinds of amazing things on this earth. And so I'll let her share everything she's got going on. But we also have a special treat for you this morning. We have a special book that we will be talking about. And you've also got some new published works coming out. So we'll discuss that. But I want to jump in this morning and just kind of introduce yourself. Like, let the world know who you are and why I think you're so special.
Oh, you are so sweet. First of all, you are fabulous. Thanks for giving me this opportunity.
Yes, girl.
I have loved our relationship ever since I met you.
And I got to say, just, you know, I think it's really amazing how people come into your life at the right time and at the right moment with the right words, because that's the part that was so impactful. I was going through one of the most difficult seasons of my entire life, and you walked into my office and we talked, and I literally just like word vomited for like almost 2 hours, like my whole life and my whole journey. And I was like, what? There's something so special about this woman, because I wouldn't ever do this on any normal occasion with anyone, right? Like that was the whole part of it, is just I held it in for so long. And then here comes Joanna.
You felt safe.
Right. I was. Yes. Which is so amazing. Thank you for that, by the way.
And now look at where you are.
Yes.
See?
On the other side of the mountain.
There you go.
Yes.
And you are. You are a woman of strength for sure. So I knew that the minute I met you. And I knew that you were just in that season.
Yeah.
And so I was excited at the opportunity.
It's really cool.
Here we are, years later.
I know. It's amazing. So what's been keeping you busy? What have you been doing? You look absolutely fantastic, by the way. Look at this woman and how she shows up every day. I will say this. You show up, girl. I've never seen you not look absolutely amazing.
You're so sweet. Yeah, I just am classy. I like to look classy. So whether I'm gardening or cooking or staying at home or business, I'm pretty much the same every day. I throw on my dress or whatever I got going on, but I like to be feminine.
I love that. I love that. And so, you know, one of the things that I think has helped us connect at a whole different level is just that part of your story where, you know, you've overcome some really traumatic, really big things in your world.
Right.
And so that's the whole purpose of this podcast is, you know, giving hope, giving inspiration, giving women the understanding that anything is possible, that you can pull through anything, that it doesn't matter how big that mountain looks in your life, you can get to the other side, and that journey is going to be one day at a time, one step at a time, one decision at a time, right? And so tell us a little bit about, you know, your story, because I think it's fascinating.
Yeah. I mean, as you know, I got to experience almost dying. A long story short, you know, I found myself in the emergency room, and from unnatural causes, unbeknownst to me, that they had to take my gallbladder out. I had gangrene that set in. It went through my whole body.
So did you not feel well, like, leading up to this?
Yeah, I didn't feel well, and I kept saying, you know, there's something wrong. I know the's something wrong.
How long were you feeling that way?
About 6 months. And so, yes, that was a huge journey. I had to, you know, essentially just face the fear of death. I knew I was dying. The surgeon told me to say goodbye to my children. And I knew that I was on my deathbed, and I did cry out to God, and I asked him to allow me to live. We had that very intimate moment. I remember literally as I was being wheeled into the surgery room, and you're by yourself and it's cold, I remember vividly just crying out to God, and I knew that there was no other thing, right? You're powerless. You have nothing. There is no one. What can you do? You're dying. But in that moment, I felt as if a warm blanket came and wrapped around me. I could feel the comfort and the peace. And I came to terms that whether I live or die, I was going to be okay, and I was going to be in peace. And so, but anyway, I made it through surgery, but with very grim prognosis. The surgeon and the doctors following told me I would be sick basically the rest of my life. I was diagnosed with 2 autoimmune diseases. My liver was shot, my kidney was shot, my thyroid didn't work. I didn't even have enough energy to get out of bed more than 2 hours a day. That's how bad it was.
Good grief.
So,
and at the same time, you had children to care for.
4 children.
4 children to care for.
And a husband, and and I had no family essentially around me living in Texas, and we had moved here, and that's a whole story. But in the quietness of that struggle of my health, I've always been healthy, and so this was an extreme struggle. The doctors had no hope for me. They said, "Joanne, you're toxic. We can't do anything for you. We can put you on a bunch of pills." I was on like 16 pills a day.
Wow.
Thyroid medicine and this medicine and that medicine. And I don't like medicine, period.
Yeah.
So, but in the midst of all of that and that trial, I came to this solution that came to me, this recipe. So I am a faithful user of this beet juice recipe that came to me through this point in time. And within 9 months, I became a documented medical miracle.
Wow.
My thyroid works. I'm medication-free. I have no diseases. But it was just a testimony to really just the faithfulness of God. I'm going to say that because he does get the credit for that.
Yeah.
And when there was no people that had answers, he was the one that had the answer.
Yeah.
And I am here today, so.
And we think that when we go through really challenging times, because we're all, the whole world is going through a challenging time, right? Like health, and now we're on the brink of another
financial
war. There's major things going on. And we think that, these moments are to take us out. Mm-hmm. But sometimes they're for us to explore and to discover. And I loved when we talked, and I remember sitting down and just like crying my eyes out to you, and just so raw, right? Mm-hmm. Like being able to be so raw with you. And I didn't even know you, but just once again, I don't even know how to explain it. Yes. And it's just such a crazy, it was an amazing experience for me, because it was just that it was so needed. But I love that part of your story where you say that during that time, you sought answers. Yeah. You read books. You talked to medical experts. You didn't just take the advice of medical professionals and their medicines and all of that. You actually took health and you took it by force. This is mine.
My life.
Right. And you took responsibility for your own life. Yes. And we could, even with our health, say, oh, that's their responsibility. They should be fixing this. The chiropractor should be fixing my back. The thyroid doctor should be fixing that. Instead of saying, okay, well, what can I do to make a difference? And that discovery that you made. So can you share this incredible morning?
Recipe?
Yeah, because you shared it with me before. Let's now, everybody grab a notepad, pen, paper, please, because this is some really amazing stuff.
Okay, so, and of course, my children now are growing up on this beet juice recipe. So,
And can I say, can you please talk about your COVID experience with this recipe?
and this is so beautiful because you well know. I'll share that after the recipe. So yeah, it's beet juice. So I just take raw organic. I have beets, prickly pear, lemon juice, carrot juice, and aloe vera. Those are like my secret ingredients.
Mariah's over there typing away. Look at her little fast fingers. She's like, that's right, girl. That's right.
And they do a lot of variations, right? So I'll add pineapple, or I'll add apples, or whatever is like fresh in season, right? I'll add it to my juice, but that's kind of the core.
Okay, so do you juice it with a pulp? Do you is there a specific extractor version that you need, or what do you do?
I literally have, and this is great. So literally, everybody who knows me knows I'm like a very thrifty woman. So 20 years ago, I was at a garage sale, and yes, I'm a garage sale person.
Yes.
I was at a garage sale, and I found this Champion juicer, and I was like, wow, $20, Champion juicer. I bought this juicer. I still have it. It's 20 years old, and I still
It is a true champion.
Yeah, it's a champion. Yeah, I was like, this is the best $20 I've ever spent. But anyway, so I have a Champion juicer, and the thing's just beast of a machine. It's lasted 20 years. It's traveled all over the country with me. I've never replaced a part.
Good grief.
And I just throw everything in there, right? So I do peel my beets. I do.
Okay.
Other than peeling my beets, I leave the skin on everything, and I just wash it, and I throw it in there. And I make enough, right? Because it's a whole endeavor. It takes like 3 hours, right? Washing, peeling, like chopping.
Yeah.
So I make at least a gallon every time I make it, and it sits in the fridge for a week. And then when it's gone, I know I have to make some more. So, but it literally is like it's like life, right? It's living food. It has living enzymes. One of the things that I found out, and it's not readily known, is that prickly pears have one of the highest concentration of bellatains. And bellatains are that basically DNA structure in the fruit that goes into a cell. Like, your cells are supposed to be circular, and they're supposed to look like a nice little bubble, but most of our cells don't look like that because they're toxic or they're deficient. And really, that's all cancer is either deficiency or toxicity, one of the two, which is why they've proven that if you go on basically a juice fast, if you do have cancer, and they always say, use beets, it's because the beet and the prickly pear together, the combination, have the DNA structure to kick out the toxins that go into your cell structure. And it also has the DNA structure to rebuild a brand new cell. So why did my thyroid come back to life? Well, it's because it literally had the building blocks to build new cells.
Wow. How long did that process and journey take you? From when you left surgery, you were told there
was no hope.
Right? Literally. Doctors tell you there is no hope.
Sorry, we can't do anything.
That's scary. Yeah.
No, that's super scary, especially when you have children to take care of and you can't take care of them.
When the experts believe you have no hope.
Yeah. And they're like, we medically can't do anything for you. And what else do you do, right? You can either roll over and die, or you can choose to live. And I chose to fight and live. And so, it was a lot of work because I didn't at that point in time have this routine of going to the store, buying all the fresh ingredients, spending the time to cut it and juice it and refrigerate it and all this stuff. But it was worth it, and it's still worth it.
And I think that's the theme of your life, and I think that's probably why I had that moment with you in the office that day, is you ooze life in every area. That's like the theme from top to bottom, all the way around, everything that you've done, the way that I hear you talking with the kids, the way that you work with, this new portion of your life, newly and happily engaged, right? Like the way you work through all of the challenges in business, because we are very much aligned when it comes to the demands in business. It's about life and choosing life. And it doesn't matter what what's going on in the marketplace.
Doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter what the industry is doing. It just doesn't matter because you've chosen life. And it's incredible how much confidence you walk on the earth with because you've literally crushed the head of death in your life through the power of the Lord inside of you, right?
That's
like
right.
you have this incredible amount of strength and confidence. And so that is a beautiful thing. And so for women who may be walking through some tough times today, this is your opportunity.
Yeah.
Like literally, this is your opportunity to walk on the earth with the same amount of confidence because I love my mentor always said that David would have never gotten to the throne, right? Here's this Israeli king.
Yes.
He would have never gotten to the throne without a Goliath. He
That's
had
right.
to have Goliath show up in his life.
Yes.
He had to have one of those moments where there was no way through.
Right.
All the experts said, you can't do
do
this.
it.
Right.
All done.
Yeah. I
You're
love that you
done.
always do that too. Yep. Yep, done. Right. Like there's no way through it. You are done. Don't even plan for next year.
You're done.
Right. Even in your business, that would have affected your business, your kids' ability to thrive. Like you've got multiple kids in college.
Listen.
This affected everything and you chose life. You walked through it. And that's incredible. And so I know that you've put on conferences, the Women of Strength conferences.
Yes.
So talk to us about those.
So the Women of Strength, that was, wow. So our first one was actually on the hills of my getting better, of becoming alive again. And I just felt that it's a calling, right? It's when we've overcome something, we're strong enough to help others through it.
Right.
And so the Women of Strength became just that. And it's just the common theme in my life and in my family's life. I have a beautiful sister who has a ministry. It's called Grateful Life Ministries. And she's a doula, of course, and obviously I'm a doula as well. And right, even in the role of being a doula, you're there to bring that woman's strength. You're there to comfort her and to be a source of just offering your nurturing strength to her as she goes through labor and delivery and the worst pain she's ever been through.
Because life and bringing life on the earth is not pretty.
Oh no,
it's messy.
And it's loud and it's painful. And and so even just being a doula, right, and understanding the role that you play, but that's kind of just the theme, is this Women of Strength. And that's why essentially I wrote this book. So I love children so much. And I really, really want to read this story to you because it's so cute.
Joanna, I'd love it.
Okay.
Please do it. Please do it.
Bear with me.
And where can we actually buy the book for people wanting to follow along?
Yeah, that's not a thing. So I am working on 2 more books that I'm absolutely elated about. And when I get the 3rd one published, then I will release them for sale.
Yay!
But they're not for sale for now. And I gift them to friends and family and people who seek me out who want one. So there is a way to get one, but they are not for sale.
But you have to be loved by Joanna.
Yeah.
I love that. But the illustrations are amazing too.
Yeah,
Yes.
and it's by Yusu Nam. She's my illustrator, and she's absolutely fantastic. She's actually a big deal in Korea. People are wearing her paintings on their clothing apparel, and she's actually one of the best artist I've ever met. She's phenomenal. She's like the best kept secret there ever was.
I love that.
So here we go. Here's the story. So it's wisdom. They all have just a one title, and the subtitle is Strength of a Tree. A tree is something of beauty, a creator's design. Have you ever smelled the sweet scent of pine? There's nothing quite like it, unique all of its own, as it dances with freedom as it is blown. You can hear the whisper of the wind's melody as it stands there saying, I am a tree, and I know my true identity. I do not claim to be another. I am only me. You see, little tree, there is something of nature that you may see. There is a little secret you can believe. Life will bring storms of all kinds. Yes, they will be. It is a true test, a time to see what you're made of and what you believe. Each storm has a name and is appointed in time. The secret to strength is the courage to stand and to send down your roots deeper in the land. These storms that are raging are truly a call to drink deeply of the land of life and to find wisdom to end your strife. Each trial you pass, your strength abounds, and with each one you pass, you receive your crowns. You see, little tree, I am so big as you can see. I have been beaten and battered through many. My roots have gone down deep in life, and here I am grounded, my true source of beauty.
I love that.
You see, I've been planted here among many, but I know I'm special in the Creator's design. I know who I am. I am a pine. After each storm has passed on by, I take a deep breath and let out a cry. My scent begins to fill the air, and that is what draws him near. He says to me, you are so dear, so do not fear. I am right here. I am your source of life, your only strength. Drink deep from me, these waters bring new life. Then he tells me, well done, and ends my strife and places in me another crown of life. You see, little tree, these storms will show you what you're made of and what you believe. And when it is finished and my time is all up, I will break open for all to see what was inside of me. Then, only then, will it be clear to see how many crowns I had truly received.
That is beautiful.
So, these are different stories for children, but I do believe that the purpose is deep. And, you know, there's a lot of children out there that don't have a, you know, what I call beaver cleaver growing up. They live on the streets, and it's rough, and they go through hard times, divorce, and, you know, drug addict parents, and all of the things. And so these stories kind of reach deep. They're sweet, they're simple,
Sure.
but yet they are profound. They do have
Right.
a deep spiritual meaning,
And they bring life. And I love that that's what
Yeah.
you do all the way around for, even for, you know, for the women that are my age, but also for children. That's beautiful. And I didn't even know that you wrote a children's book, by the way, and that you were in the midst of writing more.
Yes. I'm on a series of 12, so...
Wow.
And I am absolutely in love with book 2 and 3 that we are currently working on,
So do your kids help you with...
Honestly, they have not. They love the books, and they love, actually, we just have a fabulous culture at home, very loving. They help me with beet juice, of course, and my little one, she's getting big. She's growing really big, but she's 13 now. She's started writing, and she's got the art thing going on. And so I do expect for her to maybe someday become a writer. But yeah, as far as the books are concerned, they're like, Mom, that's your thing, and we're thrilled, and let us know when you're done.
Yeah, I love that. And so your kids have seen you walk through some really wild journeys, right? Things that were probably scary for them to walk through as well. Like, how did you help them get through those times? And then what did you see come out of them from those?
Stronger on the other side, those sweet babies. Just the faithfulness of God. I'm gonna say that. We have gone through some really scary times. It was scary that.
Did they know that you had received that prognosis from your doctor?
They did.
Wow.
And they knew that that they may lose me. They were all terrified, and they saw how sick I was. And then they saw me making this beet juice and saying that this was going to save my life. And so, bless their hearts. Literally that first year, this is so funny. I didn't know where to get prickly pear because I had no idea. I was like, wow, where
does one get prickly pear?
Yeah, and so I found they live in Texas. And so we would go out to the outskirts of the country, and we'd literally pick prickly pears off of the cactuses. And we had to learn how to handle them and harvest them. So my poor kids, they're so sweet. They would be out there with me picking these prickly pears to save Mom's life, And anyway, they got prickled, and we would all have little battle scars from picking the prickly pear cactus. But it was something we all did together, and now it's hilarious because my oldest, Isaiah, is in Bible college at Christ for the Nations, and he literally brings college kids home, and he's like, try Mom's beet juice. It's
really?
Like life-giving, miraculous juice.
I love that. Oh my goodness,
it's hilarious.
Wow. So where are the kids all at now with, just the new changes in life? And I mean, our audience doesn't quite know this yet, but you're on the other side of a really big mountain.
Yes.
Right? You're starting a new chapter in life.
Yes.
So what do you think that's what are you hoping for in the future?
Well, marriage for one. I've gotten to taste and walk out the single mom thing for 8 years. And interestingly enough, the number 8 means new beginnings. And so I'm like,
wow.
Well, of course I had to be single for 8 years.
Yeah.
Because 8 is, the number of new beginnings. And so.
That doesn't mean it has to be 8 for me, though.
Yeah.
Please, God.
Oh, no.
Not 8 for me.
I'm just that special one,
Yeah.
I just get to walk the harder path, I guess. But yeah, I've been single momming for 8 years, and now this is a new season, and it's been scary, right? The idea of getting married again, and knowing what that's all about, blending a family, and all of that. So that's a new endeavor, but I'm very, very excited, and
all while running your businesses.
Yeah, I was not intending on meeting anybody, and actually our story is it's miraculous, actually. The story is miraculous, how I met my fiance and how we stayed
on
together.
Your 8. Yeah.
Yeah, and even more interestingly is this. So a year prior to me even meeting my fiance, I had a dear, dear, dear friend of mine people who know me well, he's an athlete and used to play for the Cowboys. And he actually told me a year before I met my fiance that I would be meeting my fiance. And he even told me that it would be in October when I did, in fact, meet my fiance. Yeah. And
that's wild.
He's not this kind of a person to give some sort of a prophecy, right? He's just a normal guy, but he is a God-believing human, a wonderful human. And but he did tell me this, and he just said, I see this and know this. And I said, okay, well, I'll take it, but I'm not sure. And sure enough, I did meet him in October, and all these things have unfolded just like he said that they would, which is so awkward. It's like, oh no.
That's really wild.
But in the same sense, I recognize that it's literally very purposeful and planned. I can't help but recognize that this was planned and not by me. But that gives me the confidence to continue to walk through it. So, super excited about this new chapter of my life, marriage and blended family and writing more books and starting yet another business.
Yes.
Yes.
So, and here you are receiving insight from other people,
Yes.
but it's also because you sowed. I'm a firm believer that we reap what we sow on the
do.
earth, right? So you sowed insight
Yes.
into my world as well. You're receiving insight from other people.
Yes.
But like, even I remember, for my single momming, dating journey, you remember how like frightened I was.
It's so scary.
Right.
To be dating with children, right? After
Oh
you've
my
been married
gosh.
for 15 or plus years,
15
right?
years, single for all of those years,
Yeah.
didn't even ever consider that I would ever date.
No.
And then so walking through that journey and texting you like,
scary.
Joanna, be ready at 1:00 on Tuesday. I am calling you. I need to tell you what's happening.
Yeah.
Right? Like there are people in your world that can provide so much insight if you'll just allow them to, right? And if you'll reach. And for the women that, it's amazing because when we go through tough times or we go through seasons like this or divorce or betrayal or whatever it is, you want to isolate, you want to, shrink. But really, like it's so powerful to expand yourself, expand your circle, find the people that can provide insight because there is information out there. There's things that we can't see that exist.
That's right.
Just like there's communication between one cell phone to
That's
like
right.
I call my brother in Berlin who lives in Germany, right? And there's no cords. There's communication happening that we can't see. There are things that you can't see happening in your world. And
Others can see them if you let them close enough.
yeah, it's
And
pretty interesting.
For you, what was so beautiful is that, and I told you this right away, I said, Erica, you just need to be transparent. Let it all out. Don't, we want to tell people only the good side, right? We were like, oh, don't look over here at the bad stuff. But if you're willing to have a life coach and you're willing to just let it all out, then they can see, they can provide that wisdom and that insight. And that's why I love this so much, is that you and I have been just willing to be completely transparent.
Yeah.
And you've given insight into my universe, and it's been a reciprocal relationship, which is so beautiful, and that's the way it should be.
And let somebody ask you the tough questions. Let somebody dive into the parts that you're messy.
Stuff.
Yeah, the parts that make you feel vulnerable. In fact, like purposefully, and it's so healthy for you. And I think that was part of my dating journey that I experienced with Joanna. I was so clear with her, like it's so painful to be vulnerable, right? Like to show, and I think it's also just our personality type too, right? Like
It is.
we are women of strength. We want to show the strong portions of us, and you don't want to be seen as a victim. You don't want people to feel like
Sorry for you.
right, like
or
I
anything.
don't need you to come save the day.
No, yeah.
Like please don't.
Like, step back.
Right. No, I don't want to marry you 3 months after knowing you.
No.
Right? Like no, we don't need you to do that.
No.
So yeah, it was definitely, it's been definitely a wonderful journey, but I've loved that you've introduced the concept of life coaching to me because I didn't even really realize how important that was.
So vital.
And so to kind of take us through, because I know that's something that, you don't necessarily spend a lot of time doing, but you experience the benefits of life coaching. Like what are you looking for when you're hunting down a life coach? Why would you do that, number one? And then what are you looking for?
Yeah, I'm glad you asked. So, first of all, I love being a life coach, and it's because I've had life coaches, right? So I'm a certified life coach. But the reason you want a life coach is because you want somebody who, in those moments of your time, whether it be personal or business or or dealing with your past, right? We all have a past. And so in those moments, you don't have to find somebody new to get caught up. They already know you because you've been walking with them and they're a trusted person, right? So when I'm looking for a life coach, I want to know, okay, financially, are you successful? emotionally, are you successful? Give me the proof in the pudding, right? Have you raised your children well? Have they turned out well? Like, give me the proof. And if I find a person like that who is a little farther along in life than me that I feel like I can glean from, then that's going to be my life coach. And so I'm always finding people who are smarter than me or better than me or, more educated, more successful, whatever it is. I literally seek people out who are way better than me. And I want to be their friend. I want to get in close proximity. I want to learn from them because this is how we get through. And like I said, those symbiotic relationships, those reciprocal relationships where it's a life circle. I give you, you give me, I give you, but we feed on each other and we are always constantly going up to the next level.
Yeah.
And there are times where you slide back down, right? And those people close enough to you can see you slipping and falling. And they're like, hey, I got you. Hang on.
That's right.
I got you. And if you don't have those people in your universe, then you probably are going to fall. And you're probably
going to be there for a little
fall.
bit.
Yeah, you're going to have a harder fall than maybe you needed to.
Yeah.
But we as women, we need the support. I don't care who you are. I don't care what you believe. I don't care your religious background, your political. We need support and we need each other and we're stronger together.
That's right.
So I'm all about it.
I love that. Well, yeah. And I love how you structure life partnerships as well. So like life coaching or people that are and it's kind of just a new way of looking at it is just I receive coaching through people who are just doing other things. So it doesn't have to be necessarily like a business structure and a contract or anything. Like you're doing really well in this area of life. Like let's go have lunch. Let's go do dinner. Can I, bring you some beet juice?
What can I do for you?
Exactly. And then like you were saying, like you're receiving and then you're giving and you're receiving. So these relationships that you've had, how often do you find these relationships? Like our listeners today, how often? Because I know for me, they come very rarely.
That's right. They're very rare, and they're when you find a good one, you're like, oh, I'm going to keep you.
Yes.
I'm privileged. Honestly, my sister is one of those people for me. Even if she wasn't my sister, I would feel so privileged to know her. So in our, back home in Minnesota, everybody who's anybody knows my sister. She's like famous, really. And she's one of the most sweet and simple people you'll ever meet. But the quality on the table is so incredible and remarkable that I went just a few weeks ago to Minnesota with my daughter for a visit. And we went to this church that was not even her church. And they were doing a Celebrate Recovery. And so for some of you that know what that is, right? It's a good support network. So I go to Celebrate Recovery because she was going to be presenting, and there's a large church there, and I get into this room of women and I name drop my sister, and the whole room was like, oh, that's your sister, we love her. But there's not a soul I've ever met who has met my sister who literally doesn't speak so highly and say, oh, I love her, because she is a woman of strength and she's a life-giving woman and she's a woman of wisdom and counsel and she's a God-fearing woman. And she has been single for, I swear, and don't quote me, but it's like 13 years now.
Wow.
And she's literally walked that out in such grace. It's insane. And she's gotten to do so many things because she wasn't tied down with a husband or a partner. And, I just believe that at some point God's going to bring a wonderful man into her life and she'll get to have all of that. But for now, she's single and she's rocking out the whole single mom thing, and she's rocking out her ministry and her job and her calling and all the things. And so she's literally a woman that I think if you had the opportunity to get to know, you should know, because she is golden.
Yeah.
But these rare women and men that I'm privileged to know, I meet them everywhere. Everywhere I go, it seems like.
And it's almost like there's like a little light bulb on them,
Yeah.
right? Because like when you think about, the earth that we walk on, it can be dark, right? But then there's certain people on the earth that are just lit up.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh my gosh.
You're like, who are you?
Yes.
I need to know you.
In fact, I always ask that. I'm like, because I have someone very special in my life, and I'm always like, who are you? That is so strange. There's this light that comes from a person when you've chosen life.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think it's just that intentionality. It's that decision that you make once and it's settled. I'm going to choose life. Done. I'm going to choose to surround myself with successful, beautiful, wonderful people. It doesn't matter if you're rich or poor or your status. It's quality we're after.
Yeah.
We're after quality.
Yeah.
And if you honor people in this way and realize and recognize their quality, and you honor that quality then comes into you. We
That's
feed on
beautiful.
each other, but you honor people and you glean from people. And it's just the way. It's the way.
And I love you that you said, you make this decision and it's settled.
It's done.
It's settled.
It's done.
Right. Because it's just that fast. Like, how do people make changes in their lives? Well, you make a decision and it's settled.
That's done.
Right.
There is no maybe. It's like it's that Yoda scene, right? It's do or don't do. There is no try. You do or you don't do. You make that decision, and then that's it. You burn the ship. Yeah.
It's real. And I see it in the way that you run your businesses as well. Like, you do it. You do it. I mean, and it's fast, and we're like, wow, she's going. Yeah. Like, it's so much fun to watch. But how do you, as a woman in business, bring it all together, fold it all in? You're blending families.
Oh, yeah.
You have a wedding to plan now for with that ridiculously sized ring on your finger, right? We are in celebration mode.
Yeah.
We are in celebration mode. Yes. Can you get a close up?
I know. I'm trying. Like, this
Yes.
is the most beautiful. I just can't even
It's
believe
so
I'm wearing
generous.
it. He's such a good man.
I love this for you, by the way.
I'm so blessed.
Because we were not here when we first met. You were nowhere near this. You were still walking very much through, like, does this person exist?
Yeah. I was like, I don't know. And I came to the idea it's totally fine just to be single. I was like, I don't need a man. I'm just going to raise my children well. That's my highest priority. And then, I'm going to do business well. I'm going to live the rest of my life well, because right when you almost die and lose all of your life, you realize how much maybe you've wasted. Not fully loving, not fully becoming who you really are.
That's
You've
powerful.
kind of wasted a lot of time.
Yep.
Maybe living half a life or just surviving through your life. And I made a decision when I decided that I had a second chance at life to live, that I was actually going to go ahead and live now. And I wasn't going to be afraid to live anymore.
You said it's settled.
I'm like, that's it. I'm going to live now, and I'm going to do it to the fullest extent, because I don't want to die with regret now. And I'm going to use my time well. So I've been loving my people well, and so all of that to say that it's just so important that we utilize our time well. And in this season, I'm raising children. So, and I'm a homemade mom. Like, I do like to grow gardens. I do like to cook. I am the woman who likes to grocery shop and cook a meal for her family and bring my whole family to the table. And I love to feed people. So that's part of my culture at home. And so it's the balance of business, career, and family.
And that you found somebody to do life with that wants to do all of those things with you. So you guys are starting your own new journey.
Yeah, we're starting.
How do we build businesses together? Yeah. How do we this way? For me, the thought of like, having somebody and they're off to work at 9 to 5, 9 to 5 doing their own thing. And then I'm off to work at, running my own
Doing your
business.
own thing.
Why would we both be doing two separate things instead of coming together and building
Unity.
an empire?
Yeah.
Right. Together to bless a family.
That's what we're doing. So
And that you found, I love
and
that.
I didn't even find him. Let me be honest. I didn't find this man. I was doing my normal thing and he found me. And I was like, who are you? And then it became more and more apparent that he was somebody and I was going to keep this somebody. But he is this wonderful combination for me of strong man and willing to do this life with me. And he's obviously, a businessman as well. And so we have so many exciting plans for the future to do business and to bless people and to go big or go home.
Yeah. You guys are so aligned. I love that. So
Yeah.
what dating advice would you give other single moms out there or other single women altogether?
Oh, Lord, have mercy. I mean,
She's like, let me pull out my list. Yeah.
and like I said to you, right? So it's about valuing yourself. It really is, because at the end of the day, and everybody's going to know this, I have never dated anybody in my industry, right? There's a lot of people in real estate, right, who are like, oh, Joanne's single, and they tried, and I was like, no, it's not going to happen. I said no to so many people. It didn't matter their money status or any status. I was like, no. Because at the end of the day, I need a man to stand tall for me. I need someone that's strong enough for me that can bring it to the table. And I'm not willing to compromise. I'm just not. And I can do this without somebody.
Yeah.
So unless they're going to add value into my universe and I can add value into their universe, then that's the only reason to really date somebody. Because otherwise, you inviting someone into your universe, if you're not in a position to give, right, what can I give this person? How can I add value to them? If I can't add value to them, I don't belong in their life, right? If they can't add value to my life, they don't probably belong in my life, right? So you have to be very conscious of who belongs in your life and who doesn't belong in your life. And for dating, I dated, honestly, a few people over the last 8 years, and my children maybe met them once. I did not drag my children through my dating until this one, because I knew there was something. And so, we just kind of integrated right away because I knew there was something very special. So anyway, we're on the blended family. There's not a whole lot of wisdom there other than
the expectation is that, one of the things that you've said over and over, and I've taken this persuasion from you, which is the wisdom of let people stand tall.
Let them stand tall
Stand tall for you, right? Like that's powerful. And what does that look like? Because some women, think that, there's no good men out there anymore. And there's, you've
and
heard
they're
it
hard
all.
to find. I'm going to tell you.
What does it look like when a man stands tall for you?
He's a gentleman. He opens that door. Right? What is a good man? A good man is a protector, a provider. He performs, right? So it's the 3 Ps.
And by the way, those are the 3 pieces of legitimate leadership.
Yes.
So anybody who's a leadership freak like I am, I love all things John Maxwell, right? So it's protection, provision, and promotion are the 3 pieces of legitimate leadership. And I will not put myself under or connect myself with anybody who does not provide those things.
Yeah.
And so for
It's
women,
essential.
right. So it's like for women who just sees, oh, he is cute, or he looks successful, or he's got a fancy car and a fancy house. He must be doing something right. Well, no, honey, that's not what it's about at all.
We don't look there.
No.
And for me, I'm a very strong alpha female.
You are.
So,
as am I. Yes.
Yeah, which is why we do so well. But, I needed a man who's much stronger than me, that I can respect, and that is much farther than me. And so, essentially, right, just looking for a good man. And is he a God-fearing man, right? I can't be with someone who's not a God-fearing man. I have to be with someone who I can actually trust, which is huge, and respect, which is huge. And someone who knows how to say they're sorry, because men typically have an ego. And they don't do sorry well. And so I need someone who can humble himself in such a way that he can say sorry and lead in that way.
And that doesn't mean perfection, right? We're not looking for a perfect man, but we're looking for somebody who can fall, but then get back up.
That's what it is.
Right?
Right.
Because that's a skill set.
Because that's standing tall.
Yep.
When you can admit you did something wrong and you can mend it and you can, because we're all going to make mistakes.
Right.
But we need to know how to, we need to know how to clean it up well.
Right.
And take care of our people well.
Absolutely.
So that's essential.
Absolutely. Well, and I love that whenever we get together for dinner or any of those things, like we have fun talking about what we're investing in, businesses and all of those things. So before we close it out, what are some of the ways that you're investing right now with the, we're coming out of COVID.
Yes.
We just heard about this whole now it's the Ukraine, right? Like the whole other country is trying to take over another country. And here we go again, right? Like always chaos, always shifting. Our minds always have to be able to be fluid and see other solutions that we may not have needed to create before. And so kind of in this season, what are some of your money choices that you're making right now?
I'm glad you asked. So obviously, as a life coach, I always talk about the 7 streams of income. And I'm just a firm believer that every person has 7 streams of income and 3 of them should be residual. So obviously, I'm investing in real estate because real estate is real, right? And it goes up in value. And so real estate, obviously, I'm a crypto person, so I like my cryptocurrency.
Where are you getting your news for cryptocurrency?
Honestly,
since it's not like Wall Street Journal and all of that.
It's none of the things. Honestly, I have a totally different perspective because I just, the fundamentals have to be right for me. So whatever I invest in, the fundamentals have to be right. So the company needs to be debt free. They need to be in the green and it needs to be something that I can see long term or that I can see that I myself would invest in. I'm a hard sale. I don't buy into much. And so if it sold me, it's like, obviously there's something to it. But, I'm loving this new endeavor that we're going to be doing and, living benefits. That's going to be a huge piece for a lot of people here. That's going to create a beautiful solution for a lot of people that need money now. And so I want to provide that solution for people. So that's a new endeavor for me. But, in terms of just the whole economic thing, I think that this is the thing. No matter what it is in your universe, there is something that you have that you can bring a solution. So whatever that solution is, rather it be helping somebody or solving a problem, there's always a financial blessing and reward to that, solving that problem, right? So, in everything that I do, I'm looking to help people. How can I help you? How can I make your life easier, better, whatever it is? And I just, I feel like God blesses that. And so in everything that we do, we can see God's blessing because it's about helping people. It's about quality.
It is. And then just as you show up every day, what I've noticed is every time that I just show up, just show up. Right? Every day, something good happens.
Yeah.
Right? Showing up, whether you're an employee or whether you own the business, if you're showing up and you are willing to learn and grow and you're willing to bring your best to the table,
that's what it is.
Opportunities start opening to you, business opportunities. I remember one day I was very, very pregnant and in my office. and no agents were there, and I was all by myself, and I was feeling a little down and discouraged.
Yeah.
And this gentleman walks in, and he's like, I have a property. I just inherited it. I can't afford the taxes. If you can buy it for $20,000 right now, it's yours. Done. Right? Like, it was in the TCU area.
Oh,
and
done.
it was worth it like at least $180,000 as is. There was a raccoon living in it. It needed work, right? Like, opportunity presents itself as work.
Yeah.
And lots of people don't like that portion, right? But at the end of the day, it was just me showing up, and that same reality has happened over and over and over. So even if people say, oh gosh, there's so much ambiguity with crypto, or we don't know what's happening with the stock, or we don't know what's going on with real estate, will these prices ever change? Well, guess what? Like, this is season after season. There's always going to be another side of
another
the
crisis,
right.
Thing.
There's always going to be a group of people that see it half full.
Yeah.
And then there's going to be the other group of people that are willing to learn, show up every day, and are the ones who are literally going to be creating the next wave of wealth for this country. That's
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
The solutions. So being willing to be that person today,
Yes.
right? Like, be that person.
Yeah.
And like you said, it's settled. I am that person.
That's right.
That's right.
It's done.
That's the person that I am. And that's my personal choice today. That's how I'm going to show up today.
Yeah.
So as we wrap this up, we are walking farmers on the earth, right?
We are.
We're planting those seeds.
Yeah.
And even if we refuse to plant a seed, that's still sowing a seed of nothing.
That's right.
Right? So planting those seeds, when it's all said and done for you, what do you want to be remembered as? 3 things.
Yes, I'm leaving a legacy. These children's books are part
Beautiful
of my legacy. Yeah, because I want generations to come to know. I mean, it's just beautiful. So that's part of my legacy. But I just want to be known as a woman who really just did her all. Like, I want to do it all. I want to have it all. I want to be all that I can be. I want to love all that I can love. I don't want to leave anything on the table that I could have done, could have been. And so I just want to be as big as I can be, and I want to love as many people as I can love.
I love that.
So I just want to be remembered as a woman who loved and showed up and brought it to the table.
I love that. Well, Joanna, you've definitely showed up and brought it to the table for my life, girl. And so you're a blessing.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. I love that you are sharing your wisdom in these stories with children and the generations to come. And so if there's any book editors out there, publishers, whatever that is, please DM us and let us know how we can help Joanna take this to the next level, because these are stories that need to be passed on.
Yes.
Just like in generations past, like they would pass on stories
Yes.
of triumph, like how we won. This is how we won this battle. This is how we got through this war and these tough times, this famine.
Yeah.
Right? This is how you do it. And I love that you're showing up like
Yeah.
this in the world. How can people connect with you?
Yeah. So, I mean, if people want to support or donate, obviously, I have a huge vision. I want to get these books into the hands of children all over the world, into orphanages, especially the next 2 books. So the next book is really, really just about identity and the heart of adoption, that there's no child who's a mistake. That
That's right.
everybody that is here is planned for, and they have destiny and they have purpose. And so I really, really want that. And then I have another one that's just fantastic, and I'll keep that one a secret for now because it's just so wonderful. But I really want to get these into the hands of children globally and get them in every language. And so if anybody wants to support or donate or feels called to that purpose, they can donate to Embracing Miracles. And then
Social
they can,
media handles.
Yeah.
How do they find out what you're doing next?
So we're working on that. That's the next thing. I've kind of gone quiet for quite a few years. I've been in hiding, essentially, just doing my life and not really, not living it in front of people. But I'm going to change that. It's time, and I'm going to start.
And that's a decision. That was tough for me.
Announcing what we're doing and the things that are coming. So they can connect through text, through phone call, through email. I will be posting more on social media, and we will have more things in the very, very near future up and coming that they can partner with.
Joanna Pixley. Here she is. Are you taking Sean's last name?
I am.
Okay, so it's not going to be Joanna Pixley much longer. Okay, so then Mariah, when this happens, we'll have to change. Yeah, we'll have to do an update.
We will. We'll do an update.
Yay.
For sure.
Well, I am so grateful to see you and your journey and all of the wonderful triumphs. You are an amazing inspiration to my life and a great source of life.
Thank you.
Truly, like you're oozing life and light. And so thank you for who you are in my life. And everybody who wants this kind of relationship, guys, go out there, reach for it.
Yeah.
Go talk to people. You'll notice when something is different about someone. And I pray that every single one of you guys get the blessing of having relationships like this. But make it a great day, everybody. We've loved being with you. And connect with Joanna Pixley. Thanks, guys.
Thanks.
Thanks for hanging out with us today. What money moves do you want to hear about in our next episode? Our DMs are open for your feedback. Connect with us now on all SmartHER movement social media platforms. Until next time, be bold, be savvy, be her.